Are we live? Oh, I missed the pre-roll. Did it already go? Okay. Well, I guess we're live now then. There you go. Welcome to our city. We're right here in the Muscatine City Hall in the mayor's office. Today's May 7th of 2019. 30 some odd years ago, I gave birth to a child. So that means today is one of our daughter's birthdays. Happy birthday shout out to our daughter, Donna. Before we get to our great guests that we have lined up for tonight, I would just wanted to show you some of the highlights from the Muscatine Diabetes Project walk that we had on Friday night. It was out at the Discovery Center and it was just a great time. Tons of people, huge support from the community. About a little over a year ago, one of our granddaughters was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, as many of you know, and so we were thrown into the world of diabetes and didn't know anything, but we have met with a wonderful community of support here in Muscatine, and everybody comes out and supports one another and helps each other find the road and the path to continue moving forward. And I can't tell you how much fun everybody had last Friday night. Great shout out to all of the sponsors, all of the people who, Hy-Vee was there with just a ton of food for everyone, to the Discovery Center, Muscatine County Conservation for giving the venue, and it was just an amazing evening showing support and raising funds to help not only the local projects for the Muscatine Diabetes Project, but also for research to find a cure. And I know a lot of people will send their donations to JDRF. So either way, and big shout out to Kim Seligman. She worked so hard putting this event together and really rallied everyone around. It was a great evening, and we're already starting to plan how we're going to do our fundraising for next year. This young man sang the national anthem. His name is escaping me right now, and I apologize for that, but he was amazing. That entire park was filled with people for the diabetes walk, and it was stone cold silence for everybody to listen to him sing, and it was wonderful. So great thanks to him. And now I would like us to welcome our first guest, who is Mrs. Ann Meeker. Many of you know, and she's here to talk to us about a project that we're hoping works out here in Muscatine, and that would be a Peace Park at Carver Corners.
Yes.
Welcome. Thanks so much for coming.
Well, thank you for having me here, Mayor.
You're very welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about what the project is that's being talked about?
Yes. First of all, for those of you who hear the words Peace Park and fly back to the 60s,
oh yes,
peace and love and everything that was going on, we're not a bunch of hippies that had gotten together and decided we need to tie-dye our clothing and have a Peace Park.
Well, we could be, but
we could be, yes,
we won't.
But not that flamboyantly,
Yes.
perhaps. At any rate, there are a number of Peace Parks throughout the world. The man who started them's name is Louis D'Amour. He's a businessman, worked in Canada, had his own consulting firm and so forth, did research into tourism, and when he looked at it from a global viewpoint, it was dismal. You know, how was tourism going to occur in an environment that we have in our globe these days? So he kind of turned the question around and said, well, what can tourism do to promote peace?
Sure. Because you don't necessarily correlate the two.
Exactly. No, you don't.
Sure.
You really, I'd never thought about it like that.
Right.
He is just a wealth of information. Anyway, he established the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism, which was a unique concept to me. I'd never even thought about it.
And he's from Canada?
No, he's actually from New York.
New York. Okay.
But he worked with the Canadian government, worked in every province. So for Canada's 125th anniversary, they installed 350 peace parks.
Oh my gosh.
Some in every province in Canada.
That's amazing.
I thought that was just outstanding. And
Yes.
each peace park is unique to the place that it's situated in, because the people who live there decide what the focus they want for their peace park. What we're thinking, the other thing I want people to understand is this isn't going to be a park where you can go and have some quiet time. We have the Arboretum. We have wonderful places to do that.
Sure.
We also want this to be economic development, and that's what these peace parks are also about.
Okay.
They have conferences and such things like that once they're further down the road in development. Our concept is that tourists will come here to learn about Alexander Clark's legacy and to learn more about our friendship with China. And people are saying, well, that could be a detriment right now. But I think Muscatine's friendship with China lasts through these governmental struggles because we know Chinese as individual people.
We've built those relationships.
Yes, yes.
The personal relationships that matter.
And we found they don't always agree with their government any more than we always agree with ours. So it's not like a lot of people have a concept that, oh, in China you can't even breathe without asking the government. That's just not so. And I think that's the misconceptions about other cultures are throughout the world. If you haven't been there, you haven't met someone from that place.
Sure.
So we're hoping to foster that, and of course, the Pearl Button history would definitely
amazing.
be. Yes, would definitely be part of that. In fact, Lou, that's Lou touring. That little shot was Lou touring Muscatine. That was great. He's in his mid-80s, but he is the most vibrant. And he remembers names, I mean, difficult African names.
Wow.
I was so impressed with his narrative of what they have accomplished worldwide and what people are doing.
Sure.
And he told us he knows Martin Luther King's sister-in-law, knew her husband, Martin Luther King's brother. And he said, if you do a conference on Alexander Clark, she will come.
I heard that, and that's amazing, isn't it?
We just went, oh my gosh.
How great would that be?
That would be a kickoff to a peace park like no other.
It would.
But
so the peace park, if we're trying to envision it and picture it for ourselves, we're not looking at a big grassy area with picnic tables and we're thinking more of a facility. With some big pieces of art, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then a facility for people to gather and build relationships.
Right. Obviously, we're thinking about the Merrill.
Sure.
That it could really benefit them. And when you have a conference, the first thing people will say, well, there's no parking there. But when you have a conference, people are used to being bused to a location.
Shuttled,
parking.
In outlying areas.
Yes, so we don't see that as a real problem.
Sure.
Now, the grounds will be pretty,
Sure.
But the focus is not to make this a place of contemplation only.
Okay.
But we want to foster, and Muscatine has a history of doing that. I thought I could never live in a small town. When I grew up, Decatur, Illinois was 100,000. And I went to University of Illinois, which is quite large. But I would never leave Muscatine. The people here are so unique.
Yes. We have the rich history.
Yes.
I mean, you could just sit and talk for days.
You could.
About our history. In fact, I'm very fortunate to get to do that on this show many times because people bring their own little pieces of it. And it's just so amazing. And you've just named just a few. Alexander Clark and our Pearl Button, and certainly, the legacy of the entrepreneurs that we have in our community.
Such a rich legacy there.
Huge.
And Catherine Miller.
Yes.
I'd heard of her, but I didn't know her story until we started getting involved.
Sure.
And there's a small group of us working on this peace park, but we have determined, and I had to be convinced because my first thought was, a peace park. What the heck is that?
How's that going to fit? Yes.
And when Lou came, he came for 3 days and just educated us, and it was really, really helpful for me.
Every time I hear his name, I think of the Western book author,
know.
Louis L'Amour.
I know.
Every time
I do too. I thought that poor man probably gets told about that.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
That was my first thought.
Yes.
I thought, I wonder if he writes Westerns too.
Maybe. So as far as where you're at in the process, so you've started an advisory committee. So
Yes.
Dick McLean,
Yes.
I think we can all agree this was his brainchild.
Oh, yes.
And we just were talking earlier, he's had a lot of brainchild
Yes, he
brain
has.
ideas over
Yes.
the years. So
That turned out very well.
yes, as the founder of MCSA,
Right.
the founder of the Community Foundation, and many of the things that he has started were not easy to start because people
Exactly.
fought him
Yes.
and thought that it would never succeed and it was just a waste, but he persevered
Yes.
and to our benefit.
Yes.
He
and
did.
he recognizes he can be off-putting
Yes.
because you don't meet many people like him who, I mean, their thought processes are far beyond.
Yes.
A lot of other
outside of
people.
that box that we live in.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes. He's a dreamer and he can be irritating. And he knows that.
Yes. He recognizes
yes,
it.
He
Yes.
says, but he can't quit.
No, no.
But to me, that doesn't mean you exclude someone who has a good idea.
Of course not.
You can't
Yes.
do that. And for Muscatine to have that kind of tourism, well,
Yes.
Daniel from China, when he was
Yes.
coming a little more regularly, he said we could easily get 100,000 Chinese here a year, based on where they already go. You know, they go to the coasts and they come to Chicago a
Sure.
lot.
Sure.
So this is, and I know there are people that say, oh, I don't want a bunch of tourists running around. Well, when it strengthens your economy, that's important.
Sure. And I think we all agree tourism does strengthen your
Yes,
economy.
it does.
And we do know that we need some economic development in our community because we do
Yes.
have a lot of people, when we see the labor shed report, when we see some of the
Right.
economic
Right.
reports, we know that we have a lot of underemployed
Yes.
people.
Right.
People that are working for a wage that doesn't sustain their family.
Exactly.
And the more economic development that we get, the better positioned we are
Yes.
to have better paying jobs to support our families. And we all agree that that's something that we all
Absolutely.
want and need.
Yes.
So that would be a big help for everyone.
Oh, it would. To show you the power of tourism, a billionaire in China built a town in the most economically diverse and culturally diverse, very poor area of China. It has no residents. It was built strictly for tourists. They had over 1 million visitors. I think it was 5 million their first year, and they raised 40,000 people out of poverty because of the jobs.
Sure.
I mean, that.
It can be done.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's no reason why Muscatine shouldn't start it.
No. We have so many unique things and so many unique people, and
Yes.
certainly the forward thinkers
Yes.
that are able to bring those things to fruition. We may
Right.
as well do that. We have. I know that you're considering the location for this to be Carver
Yes.
Corners.
Right.
It's ideally located right there on the bend of
Yes,
the
it
river.
is. Yes,
Oh
it
my
is.
goodness! I mean, how many areas anywhere
Right.
are there like that?
Right. It's close enough to the downtown. It's close to the Merrill.
Yes.
It has a lot of advantages.
It
And
really
I'm not
does.
opposed to, I know one of the council people said they wouldn't be opposed to sharing
Uh-huh.
with some other kind of development.
Sure.
We're open to,
Sure.
any of that kind of idea.
It's a very large space.
Yeah, 7 acres is, I wasn't raised in the country, so an acre to me, I have to go and look,
Yes.
and see how big it really is. But it's large,
It is a large
Yeah.
area.
so,
And that, what better use for it?
right. That's
Than something
that's
like that.
how we feel.
I mean, I know people have talked about condos and the like down there. Our riverfront is such a special place.
Yes, it is.
That I would struggle with just something so.
Yeah.
Condos can
Exactly.
be built anywhere.
Right.
But something like this can't be.
No, it cannot.
So I really hope that you guys are successful. So where are you
Thank you.
at? I mean, I know you probably are working on some type of a timeline, or at least a general one. So where are you at in the process?
Right now, we're reaching out to more groups to go speak so more people are aware of what it really is.
Okay. Getting the word
And-
out to the community.
Yes.
Okay.
And the Park and Rec Commission, I think it's a commission, are in favor of the idea, but they wanted a more fully developed plan.
Okay,
So
sure.
we're working on
So you're
that.
working on putting that,
Yes.
fine-tuning the plan a
Right,
little bit
right.
better, rather than
Exactly.
just the concept.
Yes.
Which that's probably a little more work.
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh.
Really getting on paper and thinking this thing through is, but
So we're not thinking of years down the road.
no,
We're thinking this is something that is hopefully doable in the next year or two.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing to have something be built that quickly?
That would be outstanding.
It really would.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a
so-
lot, we've been putting money into the Mississippi Drive
Yes.
corridor, and now
It's
we're working
beautiful.
towards the bridge, and we're working
Yep.
towards our other end of the town coming in,
Mm-hmm.
down in South
Yeah,
End and Grandview.
Yep.
And now we're moving it up 2nd Street. We're working 8th Street's all tore up right now.
Yes.
But all the different things that we're cleaning up and revitalizing, this is good timing.
Yes. That Mississippi Drive corridor is stunning. I love it.
And I just think that things can just get better and better.
I think so too.
The more things, because you don't want to have just one thing all cleaned up and pretty.
No, you've got to.
You've got to keep, like when you add on or remodel one room of your house, then you're like, okay, now I got to do the rest because
Yeah, pretty soon you do the whole house.
you do the whole house. Yes. And so
Exactly.
that's kind of where we're at. So
Yes.
let's finish that. And
Right,
Carver
right.
Corners has been run down for as long as I can remember.
It deserves better.
Yes. I remember when Carver Pump was there.
Mm-hmm.
But then for so long, Carver Pump wasn't there anymore.
Right. it
But
was
the
just-
building
right,
was there.
vacant. Yeah.
vacant.
It was not a good look
No.
coming into our downtown and riverfront.
Not at all. And now that's torn down. And Beach Lumber was there forever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did a lot of business with them.
Oh, yeah.
Before they.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's all clean and ready and.
It's ready.
Yep.
Yep. Everything's all cleaned up and ready.
Ready for some excitement.
Yes. So how can the general public get involved, or what can they do to help this project?
They can get a hold of any one of us
Okay.
if they want more information,
Uh-huh.
or they want to join our group with ideas. However they'd like to participate, we say the more the merrier.
Okay. Have you started anything? I know we talked just briefly about social media, but have you started any kind of a Facebook page?
I believe Lori Carroll is our secretary of the
Uh-huh.
group, and I believe she has started our Facebook page.
Good, because that'll be really a place
Yes.
that people can
Oh, yes.
tune in to stay posted on where you're at and
Right.
what's coming up. And
Updating
Yes.
everybody. Yeah.
how are you thinking this may be funded?
We've got a lot of options, and that's where Dick McLean is very good.
Okay, very
He
good.
knows outside the community options
Oh,
as well.
very good.
And so does Lou.
Sure,
So
sure.
we'll be
So they'll
reaching
figure
for
out,
that.
all the best
Yes.
plan for all of that.
Yep.
Okay. So right now, it's not that you're doing any fundraising or anything like that?
Nope, not talking
Not
money
asking
yet.
for that, just
Nope.
just working on the plan.
Right, right. And getting people used to the idea and get you to think, when Lou said this the first time, I was stunned because I'd never thought about it. But he says, without peace, there is no tourism. They do go hand in hand, and I had never considered that.
Well, sure, but when you think about some of the other countries or the areas where there isn't peace, you don't go there to
No.
visit.
No.
So when you have peace, that's where people would want to go
Yes,
because
they
they
feel
would feel
safe.
safe there.
Exactly. There are countries I would love to go to, but
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about any of that kind of travel right now.
Right. Yeah, me neither. So this is a good. But you don't think of that.
No,
You really don't.
I'd never thought of it in those terms.
And so, are there currently any peace parks in the United States?
Yes, there are a few. There's one that we share with Canada, which I
Oh.
think is pretty unique because in Alberta,
Uh-huh.
it's called what they wanted to call it,
Sure.
and here it's called what we wanted to. But together, it has another name
Oh my
for
goodness.
a peace park. So, and it's beautiful. The name of it slipped out of my head right now.
Where's
but
it at? In
it's,
the United States, peace.
Montana.
Okay.
I believe Montana,
Oh, I bet
Alberta.
it would be.
Oh, it is. It's just
Yeah.
stunning. And there's a place that's I can't remember if it's Cincinnati. I've got to look that up. But they're working on trying to locate descendants of their previous 8th ward. The 8th ward was a poor district, and it was torn down for City Hall. So they're trying to find descendants of 8th ward residents. They want to honor them through statues and things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, just all kinds of different, like I
Sure.
said, whoever lives in the area
They get to pick
can
the
have
theme.
input on
Okay.
what they think Muscatine should be.
Well, we could have a great big pearl, you know, all glowing right there on the corner.
Dick wants a pearl that you can have offices in.
That you could have offices in. Oh,
Yep.
I was just thinking of a big statue of a pearl that you could see from far away glowing.
Oh, he's way down the road from
Oh,
that.
so you could open up and walk inside the pearl and hang out. All right.
Yep, it could be done.
It could be. We used to have a filing cabinet building.
Yes,
on the
we
river.
did. Yes, we did. I was sad when that was
I
gone.
was too. I loved the big filing
I
cabinet.
did too. I thought that was a wonderful idea. Or like the basket company that their headquarters is
Yes,
shaped like
Longaberger
a
basket.
yes.
Yes.
Their headquarters shaped like a basket.
Yeah.
If they can do it, we can do it.
That's right. That's right. Well, I thank you so much for coming. I think we're gonna really embrace this. I really
sure
feel
hope
like
so.
the community has nowhere to go but forward.
That's
with
what I
this.
think, and
Yeah.
that's what we do in Muscatine.
That's right. That's right.
That's what we do.
We get an idea,
Yep.
and we get a group of people working together, and we push it forward, and
Right.
pretty soon it's there.
That's right.
That's right. Any final things that we need to know, or should we just keep our eyes and ears peeled for?
Yeah, look for the Facebook page.
Okay.
It'll be should be Muscatine World Peace Park.
Uh huh.
So look for that. And my husband Tom and I are on the committee. Tom Emmerich
Uh huh.
and Lori Carroll and Frank Kelly.
Okay.
And of course Dick. We're
Yes.
a small group, but we'll take more people.
Okay. And also, I was going to say, for more information, the April in-depth city council meeting you gave a presentation
Yes.
at. And so that would have been, let me see if I even have it on here. No, I don't. So the second council meeting in April, the second
right.
Thursday in
I think
April.
it was the 11th. Maybe.
Yes, that sounds right.
Something like that.
So you can go on the City of Muscatine's website,
Oh, right.
and you can go to our YouTube page, and you
Yes.
can watch the entire presentation.
I'd forgotten about
on
that.
there.
I'm not up on all the
I
electronic
know,
stuff.
I know, but so many people anymore.
Yes.
I think they're so time crunched that maybe at some point in their day they get some time, and that's when they go and do, and so it
Right.
has to be on their time.
Yes, it does.
And that's why we're making all these opportunities
Yeah.
available. So, at midnight, you could go on
Right.
the website and look it up now that you have 5 minutes to.
And I'm pretty impressed that the city has done all of that.
I am too. I am too.
That's a lot of work to
Yes.
keep it up.
And this show is on the city's YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
We had a snafu for a while where it wasn't loading correctly, but we've got the bug worked out of that.
Oh,
So
good.
now it's actually loading each week automatically. So, because I mean, we have 2 guests every week, and and they have their snippet of information, and
Right.
people that are interested in different ones can get on there and
Yep.
and stay up to date on what's going on.
Don't have to wait for somebody to knock on your door anymore.
There you go. That's right. We'll remember that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll keep up. And
Great.
as things progress, please get back a hold of me if
Oh, yeah.
there is more information to come up or a big change or something.
Yep,
I'd
I'll
love to
keep
have
you.
you come back and give us an update.
All right.
All
I'll
right.
keep you in the loop.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, as we get ready to transition to our next guest, I would like to talk to you about the Salvation Army fundraiser that's coming up. So the Salvation Army every summer does a kids program, and the kids program is it's ran by Eric Urrington, and it is curriculum based, and it is very structured. The kids have breakfast, they have lunch, they have activities throughout the day, they go on field trips, and they're able to have a nice, structured, safe summer, which allows mom and dad to go to work in peace and not have to worry about the kids being home alone or being home together and fighting or starting a fire or whatever else kids might do without supervision. So we're holding a fundraiser to try to help those families who might struggle to cover the cost of what an all summer long program would cost, because that's an extra expense that families have throughout the summer that they don't have year round because the kids are in school. So now in the summer I have this added expense for the children to go to a program. So this fundraiser on May 17th is going to help support the program to make it be more available for families. So the event is going to be Friday, May 17th at Geneva Country Club. It's $50 a ticket, but that $50 gets you a meal, a supper meal at the country club, and fabulous local entertainment, TB mentalism. There is going to be all kinds of fun, illusions. Thad Burkhamper is amazing. So you will have, get your special someone and have a date night and have all the money go for a wonderful cause to help the children in our community have something to do all day and let their parents work and not have to worry about them being safe and fed and in a structured environment. So love to have your support for that. Next, I just wanted to give a shout out, the Muscatine Arts Center, all of May, they have the David Hayes Ventana series going on, and they're also working on some public art through this series. And David Hayes' son is going to be here talking about some of the pieces this month. So get on the Muscatine Arts Center Facebook page or website and you'll be able to get more information about it. But it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Second Saturday starts up. It's May through October. This coming Saturday, May 11th, is the first one. You won't want to miss it. Get on downtown and see everything that they have to offer. The Muscatine Community School District, I was just talking to some of the kids in our family about this. So as you know, the next year, the Central Middle School is moving into the West Middle School to join them, and 6th grade is staying back in the grade schools like it was when I went to grade school. And now they're thinking, okay, so what's the name going to be? It's probably not fair to the Central Middle School kids to still call it West Middle School because they're part of it now too. And you wouldn't want to name it Central Middle School, so what are they going to name it? So they're having a contest and asking everybody for their input on what are we going to name the school. So the suggestions I've heard so far are, why not call it Muscatine Junior High, like we have Muscatine High School? Because it was junior high. It used to be junior high when I went, but then it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade was at Central Junior High and West. And then when they moved it to 9, 10, 11, 12 at the high school, when we built the new high school, then they switched it to calling it middle schools. So I don't know if it'll be a middle school or a high school, because it's going to kind of be a little bit of both. But they're asking for your input. This is a good time to get your ideas heard. Next, I just wanted to share Fabiola Orellano. I don't know if any of you know her, but I'm sure many of you do. She has worked for Lutheran Services in Iowa for quite some time with helping children and families. Now she works with Family Resources. She's a survivor. She has written a book that has been published, and we are doing a book signing with her on Saturday morning from 9 to 11. I think a lot of you would be very interested in hearing her story and how positive of an outcome can actually be achieved when you work through it. So if you'd like to attend that, you don't have to sign up, just come on down. Next, I would like to have you help me welcome Scott Dahlke. Welcome, Scott. Hey,
thank you, Mayor.
Hey, this is your second time?
It is my second time.
Yay.
And it's a pretty exciting time to be on your show. There's so much to talk about, right?
Oh, my goodness.
There's flooding.
Oh,
There's the Game of Thrones shows and Endgame.
Avengers.
Endgame.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
3-hour movie.
And with all of that, even more exciting, MCSA's programs.
You got
right?
it. You're right in the mix of it always.
We try to be.
That's right. And you know what? You guys are always morphing into new, bigger, and better. I'm telling you, always.
I don't want to sound too confident, but I think that our city is doing a little better than most people's cities. We're trying to pair services with other services to make sure. We had Ann Meeker on here previously talk about economic development. You know, we're trying to pair our services to make it more economic development minded.
Yeah.
Let's take care of our people, but let's look at the next step and the next step.
Exactly.
So what services can we put together? What more can we add into services to make them more organized, more comprehensive, more collaborative, more intelligent?
Yep.
And that's the direction MCSA has been going. It's super cool, and it's super proud to be part of all of that's happening.
And what I love the most about MCSA, especially in more recent years, is the real move to be consumer centered. So it's about the people. And I always say, and I've said this about you many, many times, Scott, you treat people from the lowest economic status to the highest the exact same way.
Absolutely.
I've seen you do it, and I've seen you talking to someone with the most, hanging on their every word and with the most utmost respect, whether anybody's standing around listening or not. And
that's a huge compliment,
it's
Mayor.
so true, Scott. I've said that about you
I'm gonna blush here
more
on
than one
television.
time, and it's so true. And the word is genuine, genuinely caring for people.
And one of the things we rolled out at MCSA this year, and I kind of wish I had brought it with me, or so you could put it up there, was our vision, mission, and core values. And so our core values are kind of the behavior models we want from the staff that you see at MCSA. And those four are passion, compassion, fiscal responsibility, and owning the outcome. And I think all four of those together demonstrate what you're talking about, the genuine care and concern for every single person. You know, I've had people come to me and ask me, what's the best part of your job? I was presenting for Naomi DeWinter at the college for a lead program, and someone had asked me there, what's the best part of your job, Mr. Dahlke? And I said, it's seeing the compassion and generosity of this community. Oh, yeah. You know, absolutely. You know, I see people coming in, they're donating their time, their money, their efforts. It humbles you. Oh, yeah. And gives you so much hope. And then you see the people that have been living on the floor in our gym that are going through our welding program and are graduating and making $15 an hour and contributing to our manufacturers and people to provide for their family. Yep. It just gives you so much hope. It does. And it's just so thrilling. It's so exciting. God bless me by letting me do this. And, you know, I wanted to be funny and talk about Avengers and all that.
Oh, you're fun. Oh, no.
You know, they're heroes, but truly this community in general is a hero. And I'm going to say it, I said it before, our city's better than their city. We're putting these services together a lot smarter. When you had emailed me, you had asked me to talk a little about the Food Pantry. And so the Food Pantry, the homeless shelter, these are all programs that they serve a need, right? It's a very obvious need. Let's give people a warm place to sleep for the night. Let's give people food for tonight. Right. But is that all we're doing? No. Is that all we're doing? Yep. And if that's all we're doing, shame on us, right? Because that's what people have done 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and what changes have we gotten from that?
The teaching them to fish is what we're doing.
That's exactly. And so the Food Pantry, when we brought that on as one of our own programs, and maybe a lot of people don't know, is that that's officially an MCSA owned
and I don't think a lot of people knew that anymore. I don't think a lot of people know that yet.
Well, we haven't begun marketing that. We're still in the integration process and making sure that it's up and running. But when we brought it on, it was very important to us that when we bring this on, what can we pair with it to make this a very comprehensive, solution-oriented service for our community, so that Han can benefit and Kent can benefit from it, Musco can benefit from it. We know from our community health needs assessment that we have some health needs that we're not getting to, and one of those health issues is getting health care to the lowest income people. Right. So bringing the Food Pantry on, and pairing that with our new health clinic, the Unity Point Public Health Clinic, as well as University of Iowa's Pediatric Clinic, was super important for us. So now we can get people coming in through the Food Pantry that are getting those healthcare needs, that are getting their teeth, their dental needs. We also have a vision clinic, so getting them exposed to that vision clinic as well. We've caught so many people with high blood pressure that it would blow your mind. And getting those blood pressures, the silent killer, under control, so that these people can go to work every single day without fault, is really cool. It's really important.
And I love that compassion that your staff have to the families, and every single person coming through the food pantry getting the respect that they deserve.
Absolutely.
That is so critical.
That is something we strive for. It's hard, you know. You gotta continue to push yourself every day to say, you know, I'm putting that smile on no matter how bad my day was at home today. You know, this morning, well, not this morning, I just got back from New York, but last week, you know, I'm taking my kid to school and, you know, he's a teenager now, so the mornings are quiet and boring. And, you know, I go to work and I just want to be annoyed. Like, gosh, that little teenager, I just want to smack him. Not really.
Well, you might want to.
I want to, but I won't.
But you won't.
I won't. But when you go to work, and you get to serve this community like this, like, be excited, man. Be proud.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I want for the entire community, not just the staff at MCSA.
Right.
I want everybody to be so proud of this town.
And I feel that happening. I feel that movement.
I do, but it takes more than just you and me. It takes anybody who knows anybody to tell everybody they know, to confront everybody and say, no, stop bad-mouthing this town.
We don't do that. Yep.
We are so cool. Yep. We have super low unemployment rates. We have much better services than other communities. Yep. We are a rural town, and we have some room to grow. You know, mental health is one of the areas I think we have a lot of room to grow.
It is. And our poverty still is
it's a little above.
It's a little above where it should be.
It sure is, but we've got some plans, and I think the collaboration with the college, and we call it the Rapid Upskilling Program.
Yep.
The college calls it Pathway Out of Poverty. Either way, we're going to start adopting Pathway Out of Poverty. What can we cram into a short period of time to get people up and
we
into
used to the self-sufficiency program that I help with. Parents at the Y, it used to be called bootstraps, like pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. But then we didn't so much like the name because that's putting it all back on them, and we need to help people sometimes.
Well, you know, and this is where I guess I'll get on my soapbox a little bit, is that so many people in Muscatine have the generational poverty.
Yes.
It's just, you know, their parents were poor, and the parents before them were poor, and they struggled, and, you know, the situation's just compounded itself to the. Anybody who's ever gone through Psychology 101 has heard about the feeling of hopelessness.
Yes.
You know, and when you get that feeling, there's no next step for you. You've just accepted life as it is.
You accept the status quo of where you're at.
Yeah.
The station you were born into.
And so I've been in social work for 20 years. I've lived in New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, North Carolina, and Iowa, and I've seen this feeling of hopelessness. And I've seen many social work programs that said, okay, the responsibility is on you as the consumer. You want my services, you better earn my services.
Yes. Jump through all these
hoops. And you better make your appointments, and if you don't, I'm going to discharge you. And that's all well and fine, because I understand the professional world. You need to have billable time,
structure,
and all of that stuff. However, at MCSA, because we're so organic, we can change our philosophy a little bit and still meet the needs. We say it's the staff's responsibility. It's the staff's responsibility to meet with that client. It's not that client's responsibility to meet with that staff. And furthermore, you do it with a smile on your face, because not because Scott's telling you have to, but because, do you want this? Is this what you want?
If you want this job, this is what you want.
Do you want a better Muscatine?
Yes.
Do you want a better Muscatine? And if you want a better Muscatine, then let's do this, guys. You know, and hopefully that's the feeling you get when you come to MCSA is, we're going to get it done, baby.
It is.
I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that.
And you should be.
Chad's laughing at me.
And you should be. You know, I love that, how it's not, you know, it's not, we have to meet the people where they're at. And they're not going to come into our world and sit at our desk, you know, and show up on time for their appointment. Because
if they were doing good at that before, they would be out of situation.
Exactly. They wouldn't be there. Right.
So we got to beat our feet as the paid professionals and make sure we're meeting them at where they're at.
Exactly.
And giving them that hope.
And that's where I think we've been lacking for a long, long time.
And we've initiated outcome performance measures at MCSA, which was unheard of for a while. And the outcomes, just putting them in place and changing the way we do social work based off of what the performances are, it's changing the performance outcomes. We're now one of the nation-leading centers for homelessness in putting people out to stable housing and getting people improved income.
Isn't that great?
It's amazing. Again,
is.
our city's better than yours.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And I love that, like the welding program, how MCC is coming along beside you and other organizations and really giving people that.
It takes great leaders, and it takes great leaders trusting in their staff and saying, hey, this is a good idea, make it happen.
Because the homeless centers like yours can't just expect to keep going to all the industry and the community for give us money, give us money, give us money.
No, and I think, in general,
never-ending supply.
I think people underestimate what the financial support is for homelessness. The federal government amounts to 1/10 of my entire funding spectrum. So we need to find other avenues to get this done. I can't help all the people that MCSA needs to help based off of just that one little chunk of federal funding. We do have a great community that supports us, but there's no revenue stream for helping people with homelessness. So we got to be really creative on how we do that to sustain our future. And we're looking at, MCSA is looking at, 2 years from now and 5 years from now and 10 years from now, what can we do to sustain ourselves? And I'm not gonna let all the cats out of the bags. But we got a lot of things that we're trying to do to make sure that, MCSA is around forever.
Sure.
Today, it's stable. I'm not saying I don't need the community support. Please bring the support in. But there's no fear for our future. And I think, like I said, the more we combine services and the more we can put together to make sure that we're not only providing to the people that are most vulnerable, but we're also producing to the economic development of Muscatine. I think the more people will buy into what we're doing. We have a huge support base as it is.
Oh, sure you do.
Like I said, it's the most overwhelming thing.
On people coming, organizations coming and serving a meal. I mean, you see just all the time.
Yeah, so the entire month of March, April, and most of May, and part of May, Calvary Church had done a initiative where they wanted to serve meals every single night. And so we kind of opened that up to the community so people can come in and enjoy that as well. And it's really good to see people giving their time. I know, I'm like most people in Muscatine. I got a kid, and we're out playing soccer, the Muscatine Soccer Club, and in the swim club, and in scouts, and doing horseback riding. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy. So I understand how, give them an hour of my time, how much that matters.
Right.
So when I see so many people,
Love
300,
it.
look at them all.
Yeah.
So many people, hundreds of people coming down to give an hour of their time.
Yep.
It truly brings, I'm a guy's guy, I hunt, I fish, but it almost makes me want to cry.
Oh, yeah. And it puts a face, they can see that these are people. Sometimes people just give donations and don't really put a face to that. And you give them that opportunity.
One of the cool things the Calvary leadership had asked their parishioners to do was sit down and talk with them. When I went to Calvary, and I kind of explained a little bit, don't be afraid to come and ask questions. Everybody's afraid, we're not going to ask about homelessness. When we go to the homeless shelter, why not? You're in a homeless shelter. Ask about homelessness.
Yeah.
It's not taboo.
Right.
So just come ask about anything.
Yeah, sure.
You're going to hear some bad stuff and good stuff because we do have rules. We do charge a little bit. We do expect them to do chores, and not everybody's happy about that. My wife makes me wash dishes, and I can promise you every time she tries, I yell.
Yeah, there you go.
So every time we ask guests to complete chores, they're going to argue a little bit, but they get the job done just like I get my dishes done.
Yeah.
So I just explain those things to people, and, they come and sit with people, and they hear them, they're like, you're right, Scott, but, this is typical family.
Exactly.
When you love each other and you're trying to lift each other up, this is just what you see.
Yep. And I really am loving how the entire community is coming around and embracing, and even how the nonprofits are working together. I know several are talking now about, do we really need a bookkeeper at every single one and a marketing person? And maybe we can combine that together.
this is one of the things that's one of my 5 or 10 year plans. Is it's not just my plan. It was definitely
that was started years ago.
Yeah, it was
Mike Johansson started
and
that.
It's gained some steam recently. But what can us nonprofits do together to better serve the community
and to spend less and
do
more?
Looking into it, I'm not sure if it's going to be a spending issue. It's more like, again, how do we pair services together so we can provide a much more comprehensive service?
But also sharing resources, like an IT guy. None of us can really afford a full-time, good quality IT person.
I mean,
but maybe 4 organizations together could.
We found out the other day that we had I think it was 10 staff that hadn't changed their password in the past year. That stuff needs to be caught.
Yes.
Because what HIPAA information is at risk, with that kind of stuff. Not to throw our business out there, but we need more comprehensive plans. Because MCSA has been run on a shoestring budget for so long.
Yes, and those are things that go by the wayside.
Yeah, our money goes into the people. It goes into our clients that we
services.
serve.
Yeah.
And so we forget about the IT stuff. We forget about the accounting stuff. We've recently updated our accounting system, and we found out we were probably 2 positions behind. We needed 2 FTEs to make up for all the growth that has happened.
Sure.
Not that we'll ever do that or get there.
Right.
But maybe if we start, combining services with other programs, we can have a more robust service. Again, when those things happen, my intention is people first. People first. How can we serve the people of Muscatine better? How can we produce to the economic development of Muscatine better? And how can we walk away from this saying, this is what we did.
Yeah.
This is so cool what we did.
Yeah.
And we're providing an opportunity for all these people the best we can.
Yeah.
And that's my goal when we combine our services, is just putting a really good comprehensive service package out to Muscatine so that we can continue to say, my city's better than yours.
There you go. There you go. So the food pantry.
I know, that's what you want to talk to me about.
That's what we want. But you and I do this.
This is what happens right to my talk, man.
It's good. It's all good.
I'm so sorry.
No.
Watching.
I just wanted to touch base on the food pantries at MCSA now, and also now is a part of MCSA, not just renting there.
So now it's a full-on program of MCSA, owned and operated by MCSA. So we're trying to get the word out to all the previous donors that now all their funding was currently going to the food pantry. It's still going to the food pantry. That's still being forwarded. It's still just as much in need. That financial need didn't stop because it became adopted by our program. The whole idea of adopting that program was so that we could pair it with the health clinic and the dental clinic and the vision clinic.
Provide a better outcome.
So we could provide better outcomes. So we're not just throwing water on the fire.
Sure.
So the funding's still needed. And then we're trying to look at what can we do to better address the community's needs. I've heard from the school district that they need evening hours. The food pantry previously ran from 8 to 10. How do kids that are going to school get some food? How do parents that are working first shift get some food?
Yeah.
So as soon as we finalized the last phase here, the first phase was just getting them over to our property and getting them situated there. Second phase was getting a coordinator to run the program, and the third phase is expanding their hours.
Okay.
So we're going to approach the third phase by the end of this week, where the food pantry will move to a 10 to noon service package. Like they'll be giving food out from 10 o'clock to noon. And then they'll also be doing an all-day food pantry. Pam Keefe, who's our food coordinator, she wants to do it once a week. We'll probably start with once a month initially, and then go to once a week after that, so that we can continue to offer an all-day food pantry.
An all-day food pantry. But so you're not talking evening now?
They're talking from 10 o'clock until probably 6 or 7 o'clock.
Oh, so people on first shift could still get in there.
Exactly. That's the whole point. It's kids coming home from school can stop over, and people working first shift can stop over. That's the whole point. That's what the community's come out and said that they need.
Yep.
So we can provide that, and the wellness clinic has said that they can match those hours, because I don't want anybody coming to the food pantry without getting that coordination with the wellness clinic.
And make sure that they have health care.
And with them having access to our professional kitchen downstairs as well, we're going to enter the Master Gardeners section of the food pantry, where they donate a bunch of fresh produce to us. But what we know is that people in poverty don't often get a lot of fresh produce. It's expensive, so they don't know how to cook it.
They get hot dogs and macaroni and cheese.
So my wife is really good about like using a fork and doing something with some squash. She calls it spaghetti, and she throws salt on. I don't know. It's delicious. I eat it, but I don't know how many people that I serve at MCSA that eat that and know how to cook it. So we'll have samples for them, hopefully, through our professional kitchen to say, here, do you like this? Here's how you can prepare it. Here's a recipe card, and here's the squash to go with it. So
very good.
Again, just trying to put more education, more behind what we're doing to provide a more comprehensive care package to what's going on here.
Teaching them to fish.
Teaching them to fish. Adding to the economic development of Muscatine. We're a good town. We're doing things a lot smarter than we used to.
We are.
And it's only going to get better.
Yes.
And it can only get better with the continued support of the community.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. God bless all of you. I know what it's like doing without.
Oh, it's so cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
And that, shoot, I wish you could see all the letters and all the things that happened and guests that stayed with us and went on to get a job, and they still come back and volunteer their time to clean up or do housekeeping. We have Rose who's leaving her number on my desk every day. Scott, you need any housekeeping? Let me know. And then we'll say, how much do you want, Rose? Nope, you guys helped me, and it's just touching.
It is.
It's just so touching.
And people always think, that it's that they are just not grateful, but that's not true. And they want to give back.
It's not true, because all you need to do is show them that passion and compassion first.
Yeah.
You got to give it first, and you got to get through those walls and get through those feelings of helplessness. That's a chronic issue. It's not just me making it up. It's a chronic issue. Feelings of helplessness lead to just nothing. It leads to sitting in bed feeling incapacitated. That this is all I'm ever going to be.
This is it.
So you got to get through that. You got to get through that with energy, with passion, and with compassion. And sometimes with a hot fire poker and say, get going, but you can't give up.
It always amazes me every year when it's time to ring the bells for Salvation Army. We have all of our grandkids take a shift, and they all have to take a turn because they need to learn volunteerism and giving back, and that's what we do in our community. But my grandson Timothy last year, he's like, Grandma, I always notice it's the people that don't seem to have as much money. They put in more.
It's
than
true
the people,
story.
and he'd be like, Grandma, I know what kind of coat that is, and they have a lot of money, and they only put $1, but that other person, their coat was all raggedy, and they put in 20.
I know.
It's true.
I was serving on the committee for my son's Cub Scouts, and they were doing a fundraiser, and they wanted to sell things at Walmart door, and they didn't want to do it at the first of the month because what we all think.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I think you'd be surprised. So they did it, and they had a record year.
Yeah.
They just had a record year because people in those situations know what it's like. You know?
They do.
But I'm not knocking the other side because
because they give
behind
tons.
the scenes to
yes,
MCSA
that we may not
people
even
wouldn't
know. That's right.
That wouldn't understand. I think we're just doing a really good job. The Food Pantry, again, they're getting between 100 to 200 people per day. That's 800 people a month. And that's just people. That doesn't represent the number of families. So some of them people could be one of those people could be representing a family of 4 or 6. So the number of people we're helping. And one of the things that surprised me, Don Lampy, he's a community volunteer here in town. He did some research on the number of people that we were serving and who they were. I thought the same people were coming back over and over and over and over again. But when he did his research, it was the exact opposite. Many of the people were new people coming for the first time. So because we had figured it out, the retail value of what we're giving is around $25 to $40 per visit, ish. Depending on what
sure.
And that's not our cost. Most of what we get is donated.
Donated.
However, we figured that a family, if they used our pantry every day that we're open for each day of the month, would only have to pay $20 per week to supplement the food that we're giving.
Oh, that's great.
Depending on what we're giving.
Sure.
But then when Don did that research for us, I was kind of astounded that they're just using it once. And that's telling. We got to do some more digging into that.
Yeah.
Again, this is the smart, comprehensive care that we're trying to put out in Muscatine. Now we know this data. You know, what more can we glean from that?
Yeah.
You know, knowing that people are using it once, is that because they're embarrassed to come back, or is it because they don't need it again?
Yeah.
I know we have a really great unemployment rate in Smuscatine.
Sure.
You know, is that contributing to the fact that people don't need it more?
Or are our hours not what they need to be?
Or are our hours not what they need to be?
So
definitely
or
things
is transportation. It could be.
We know transportation's an issue.
Yes, we do.
And there's a lot of things that we're trying to look at to see what we can address, and if the community's got ideas.
Yeah.
You know, not all the ideas come from my head. I am always not the smartest person in the room. Chad is way smarter than me. You're way smarter than me.
I don't know about that.
So one of the things I always like is just come in.
Yeah.
Come in. I've always got time in my schedule.
Sure.
Share your idea with me. I'll give you absolute credit for it. We'll hail you on high and say what a great person you are. Just come bring me your ideas.
Sure.
What can we do smarter for this community? And we got a lot of people with opinions, and I love to hear them all.
Sure.
I would love to hear new ideas. That's the thing I would like more of, is the new, fresh people that I haven't heard from before.
Yeah.
And that's why I talk about, you know, there's so many people that think the reputation of Muscatine is bad. No, it's not. Have you been around town lately? Have you talked to the police force lately? Our town's good. Stop letting your friends say this.
I know.
Tell them to come in into MCSA and chat with me. If you do think there's something wrong with our town, come in and chat with the mayor. Come in and chat with me.
I wouldn't live anywhere else.
I can guarantee you there's enough people in this town that will do something about it.
Yeah.
So just share with us what your thoughts and opinions are, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. One of the best things I love about the food pantry is you don't ask people to prove that they're hungry.
Nope. We're very proud of the fact that there's very low requirements. You literally just come in, sign your name, and how many people you're feeding that day. You get a shopping list. It's a really cool, neat thing that we've done. We've changed it from just here's what you get, to it's choice. So now you get to pick what you get. You're limited to, like, you got to pick a bread, a grain, and a vegetable and whatnot. So when they come in and they sign in and they say, you know, I'm Scott Dahlke and I got 4 people I'm feeding. They get a shopping list for 4 people, or they get a shopping list for 1 person, and they get a grocery cart. Ivy gave us some grocery carts, so they get to go through our aisles like it's a grocery store, and they get to choose what they want. Protein's always an issue. We never have enough protein.
Of course.
Peanut butter is always a shelf-stable protein, so they get a choice between peanut butter or some meat that a program was getting rid of, and but still, it's choice, and it's really cool.
Choice is important.
It's really cool, and we partnered with Riverbend Food Pantry, Food Bank lately, so they're now.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm on the Bi-State Regional Commission, and we get reports from them every year, and I was really glad to hear that you partnered with them.
Yeah, so they're a huge part. They're a huge program.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a lot of resources, and we're able to purchase food from them at a very, very reasonable cost. So we were able to lower the food pantry's costs by doing that, while still providing the same exact service, if not a better service to what people were used to receiving. So they also provide a lot of research and a lot of data to us, so we can look at what they're doing and see how many meals they're serving across our region, and see what we need to pick up or drop off, depending on the data that they're providing us. Good stuff.
Yes, it is. Nobody in Muscatine needs to be hungry.
There's no reason. There's really no reason. As long as the community keeps coming out like it does, and they supply the food. You know, interesting stat: MCSA hasn't missed serving an evening hot meal since 2014.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, and so lately we've even opened up our hot meals to the community. It used to be just to the people that stayed there, but now we said, you know, if you're hungry, come and eat. You know,
I love the text thing that you do now.
Yeah,
if you get a big donation from leftovers from a big conference that somebody had, and now you've got 5,000 pounds of beef stew that was fresh right now. And you just text and come get it.
How cool is that?
I love that.
That's the brainchild of our program director, Angela Bolins, and she's a real tech savvy lady. And they were getting a lot of bread initially, and they were giving it to hog farmers. And we're like, well, how do we get rid of this? How do we give this bread out to people who actually need it? So we always have carts now in the basement MCSA, the garden level. We call it the garden level MCSA. And so people can come in anytime they want and get that bread. But if we ever have leftovers of a rescued food item or a donated catering event, the Pam and Keith will send out this text saying, hey, this is here, and anybody can come and get it. So, feed your family. Feed your family.
Oh, yeah.
I look at so many things we used to do, and when you move out of the Greatest Generation, they lived in that depression.
Yes.
And they had to store things. And as a community, sometimes we had to store things too. But we're not there anymore. And MCS and Muscatine is very generous. So I don't want to say it's overly generous. It's just generous enough. So there's no reason to hold on to stuff and hoard it. If people are hungry, give them the food.
Yep.
Let's break some of these habits that people have. For you'll see some of the people coming in the shelter, and anytime you give something away for free, they'll start taking it. And we had this one lady who had 3 suitcases full of canned goods, and eventually she stopped taking the canned goods. It's just some of this stuff is mental health related. I know.
Yes.
I know hoarding is an anxiety based trait, but some of it is a learned habit.
Oh, yeah.
If you've gone 3 months without being able to eat or being able to eat very little, and all of a sudden you're at a shelter where you can pick up canned goods every Tuesday and Thursday, you're going to pick up canned goods every Tuesday and Thursday for the days that you don't have it.
Right.
But after a while of her realizing, I'm going to have food, she stopped taking it. And then she wound up letting go of some of the stuff that she had.
My grandma and grandpa did that. They came through the Depression, and they were...
My grandma and grandpa did too.
And my grandma would have, like 5,000 cans of tomato juice and 5,000...
It wasn't even just cans. My grandfather was a wealthy man. And when he had money, he bought something that had value and kept it. And his idea was that if he ever went broke again, he was going to be able to sell all that stuff. And he never had to. So, when he wound up passing on, we had to look at all the stuff. What are we going to do with it?
Well, yeah.
So it's just
they didn't like banks either.
No, because look what happened to the banks back then.
So you'd go over to my grandma's house and pull out a Kleenex and there'd be stacks of money underneath because they hid it.
Just so many things we just need to look at differently.
We do.
We just need to look at it differently because today's a different day than it was 50 years ago or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, everybody had big hair. It's just different today.
That's right. That's right. Well, I just love to see how you continue to put the focus back on the people and meeting their needs.
That's the business we're in. That's the business we're in, and people buy into it. Yep. And the clients, they need it. They need it. And with a low unemployment rate, we need to just get down. We need to get down and stop putting ourselves up on a pedestal and make sure we're meeting people where they're at. They need that dignity. They, for 50 years, hundreds of years, they've just been browbeaten. You're poor, let's just, move on. Or you're poor, you gotta break out of it. You gotta suck it up, buttercup. And let's try something different.
They're just lazy.
And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But my stats show it's working, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
And it's not just the stats; it's just inside me.
It's building people.
It's the right thing to do.
Yep. Treating people with respect.
And when you're MCSA, I mean, we have a lot of programs underneath our umbrella, but the ones we're most known for is the homeless shelters. What else are you going to do? If you're at a homeless shelter, there's no other place to turn. I can't turn you away. I don't think that's what the community wants from us. So I certainly take...
No, the community does not want that.
No, so I take my job seriously, and I take the money that people give us very responsibly, and I try to use it in the smartest way we possibly can. And I try to make sure that everybody, no matter how much money you have in your pocket, comes in our doors and leaves out our doors with a smile. Yeah. And that's what they need. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you do.
Oh, that makes me feel good. Again, I'm
You do, I know it. I would vouch for it any day.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any parting thoughts?
I'm not going to spoil the Avengers movie for you. But,
don't do it.
I'll tell you, you're going to walk away from that quiet. And the Game of Thrones, wow, that was mind-blowing.
Okay.
And the flood, apparently, you can take a kayak down River Road here, or Mississippi Drive, sorry. So it's all just interesting times in Muscatine.
That's right. That's right. Good days ahead.
Good days ahead.
That's right. All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, come back anytime.
Just invite me.
I will. I know. That's what you said when I invited you to come. You said, you asked me, I'll be there.
Anything I can do for the city, anything I can do for you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Hey, hang tight 1 second. I'm going to close up here. Next week, our guests are Chris Bohr with the Keep Muscatine Beautiful, and they have a new project called Almost Friday Fest. And that's going to be on Thursday evenings throughout the summer, and a good time for people in the community to gather, spend time together. So all on the same theme. Also, Nicole Sorgenfrey with United Way and the summer lunch program that they do. Another opportunity for people to be well fed here in Muscatine. Reminder, we have an in-depth city council meeting this Thursday night at 7 o'clock upstairs, top floor. And our next Coffee with the Mayor is May 18th on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. at Happy Joe's. Good to see all of you tonight. Thanks for joining us. Thanks very much to our two great guests, Meeker and Scott Dahlke. I know you learned a lot. I always do. Have a good evening, and we see you here next week on Our City.
Our City with Mayor Diana Broderson replays on MPW Channel 9, Wednesday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Thursday at 7 a.m. Of course, we're live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook. Email us at ourcity@muscatineiowa.gov.